TheyClonedTyrone, starring JamieFoxx, JohnBoyega, and Teyonah Parris. And when I say this is a beautiful movie, shot, beautiful cast ensemble, a hood classic, a hood sci-fi, and best believe it is a sci-fi movie. As John Boyega's character as Fontaine, as we start the movie, as Fontaine is a hood drug dealer, and starts his morning every morning, goes to the store, get a pack of Rillos, 40 ounce. He tips it gives some drink to the local bum that's in front of the store, and then he goes on about his day. And you just get into that typical lifestyle of what's going on in the hood. And at this point, he pisses off a rival drug dealer, and as he's going to go collect his money from Jamie Foxx's character, which is Slick Charles, a pimp that works out of a motel, as he's leaving, he gets shot up. And then the very next day, as if it was a dream, nothing happened. And he goes to go get his money from Slick Charles again, and Jamie Foxx just explodes. Like, man, no, you got shot, bro. No. How is this possible? And then we go from there. I loved every minute of it because it's a play on these rappers that's, quote unquote, over the years started with Gucci Mane. Like, man, he's been cloned. NBA Youngboy. Anytime a rapper goes to jail, they've been cloned. And I just love that play. So you could tell, like, this type of movie and this type of script was years in the making. As Teyonah Parris's Yo-Yo, she kind of is that retired prostitute underneath Jamie Foxx, but also can account for, hey, yeah, I heard gunshots. I saw you leave. I saw you coming into Slick's, apartment, motel or whatever, and basically backing up Jamie's Slick Charles's story. And I just love that they really gelled together as far as them three trying to figure out what the hell happened. And as they do, they stumble upon the laboratory where they, do experiments on black folks, and they're kind of like, whoa, this is way bigger than what I thought. This is crazy. And upon doing so, Fontaine sees his body with the holes in him. So he's kind of like, yeah, this ain't no dream. That wasn't a dream. So he's trying to figure it out. But them three are figuring it out, and seeing as they're putting this substance into everything that's in the hood. So there's all these tropes from the juice, the chicken, these spicy chicken like from Popeyes. The perm element that you get from women do their perm and they do their hair. So it's all in these, it's basically mind control of thinking and telling you how to think, how to feel, and what to do. So when you eat this spicy chicken, y'all laughing. When you play this type of music, y'all are fighting. When you play this type of music, y'all are hugging. When you play this type of music, it makes you sleepy. I love that aspect of what it was doing. And then you go further into the story of they go back down there again, and then they all see a clone of themselves. Slick Charles and Fontaine has many different clones. So but you don't see one of Teyonah Parris's Yo-Yo. So it's kind of like, well, why she don't have a clone? Only because she doesn't represent what the neighborhood has to offer. Meaning, Fontaine is a drug dealer, so you need to, keep a drug dealer in the hood. Slick Charles is a pimp. You need to have that pimp element in the hood to keep it hood, to keep the neighborhood messed up. Yo-Yo just a dime a dozen. You can find, chicks like you anytime in a place, but you need that pimp, you need that drug dealer to keep things functioning. So it touches on systematic racism, it touches on racism tropes, it touches on mind control experiments, governmental dealings of why they are in the hood. And that's why I tell myself, and later on in this movie, it's man, we're everywhere. We're in Detroit, we're in LA, we're not just in the Glen. And I looked at the Glen as, to me, it felt like Atlanta. So it was certain aspects of why this is, it was just cross narratives of, you had a beeper store versus it's a swell place to live on Fontaine's license plate. They had different things of you may not know of what year or time period we are in. We're assuming that it's relevant because he did say, get your Obama looking ass out the way. So it's a timepiece relevant, but also you had these tropes of the beeper store and things like that. So they touched on a lot of things in this movie and made it very, very conscious, and I loved it. I loved it. From start to finish, I had to watch this twice because I was telling myself this is something to really watch. For everyone watching Barbie, from everyone watching Oppenheimer, TheyClonedTyrone is definitely up there with those three, with those two rather. And I was telling myself, like, why they call this They Call Tyrone, and you have Slick Charles, Yo-Yo, and Fontaine, until the very end of you see a clone in LA that's named Tyrone. So obviously they got these clones from Tyrone in LA. So, and it goes back to the older Fontaine and was like, well, I'm just a geneticist here. So this is why he said, I'm not a clone, I'm just a geneticist here. And that makes you believe that, you know, he was a geneticist elsewhere and he was placed in the Glen to do more of his work. So I loved every minute of it. JamieFoxx provided that comic relief, but it wasn't over the top. JohnBoyega had that character depth, that emotional tone to it, that aggressive drug dealer, but trying to figure out what's going on. He only smiled that one time while I was eating that chicken, and JamieFoxx was like, man, I know you for years. You ain't never laughed. You ain't never smiled. It's in the chicken. What the hell's going on? So I loved it. I love how woke it was, how just every element that you had to pay attention to as somebody who was smart would pay attention to. This was done beautifully. I give this a 10 out of 10. This is, to me, up there with Get Out, you know, all these other Jordan Peele movies, because it was very conscious and very smart. So that's why I loved it. It was something that where it's like, well, I would have done this if it was everything that you would have done in that situation as an intelligent Black person. So I'm loving it. I loved how it was just made, from the writer to the directing, all of it. You had David Allen Greer in the church drinking that grape juice, and then they start playing Back That Thing Up. I was like, yeah, they touched on every part of a Black community in this movie, and I'm here for it. So you guys enjoyed my review of TheyClonedTyrone. Subscribe to my channel, post a comment down below, and like the video. It's your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.